Very first podcast. I am so excited, y'all. I had to throw my girl Ari in the mix. I love Ari Lennox. You know, it's a celebration for me. It's my very first podcast. Do you hear me? That to me, that's an accomplishment to have a platform. And I'm so excited. Hello and welcome to Health is Wealth with yours truly, Stacia Luv Philosophy Kelly. The show that gives you inspiration, enlightenment, and insight to health and wellness. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have been through a journey, and I want to show you guys and tell you my perspective and bring along my family, friends, and people I meet along the way and have met along the way in my journey to health and wellness. And we're going to talk about all kind of aspects: my morals, values, my education, my leadership roles, and people that have given me inspiration and insight into being a better person. I am so thankful to have this platform to be able to share my knowledge and other people's knowledge on health and wellness as a whole, and also in healthcare as well. Please make sure that you listen all the way through for the details about me and what's in store for season 1. I am so excited to be here. And if you are a YouTuber watching my show, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and hit that bell notification. All right, to get notifications about when this show gets new episodes, or whenever I decide to post something silly that's going on. I'll let you know that I am a very humorous person. I love to talk to people and keep them laughing and give them words of knowledge, words of encouragement, inspiration. That is what I do best. Okay, that is a gift from God that I wholeheartedly embrace. So without further ado, I want you guys to hear my beautiful intro that Isaiah Porter made for me. He's a up and coming musical genius, a singer-songwriter who came up with my introduction. And without further ado, here you go.
Through the highs and the lows, just know you're not alone. 'Cause your health is your wealth. So for me, take care of yourself. It's a simple philosophy. Take care of you for me. Yeah, it's a simple philosophy. Take care of you for me.
Love, philosophy.
Hey, all right. Well, we're going to start with a little bit of story time. I want to tell y'all a story that just tickles me every time I tell it. And it tells you a little bit about things that has happened to me, funny things that have happened to me, and also lessons that have came from some of the stories that I have. But I have a particular one from one of my many positions that I've had in my life. Okay. Most of them were leadership roles, but this one was more of me giving back to the community. It was when I was a substitute teacher, right? So I love kids to a point. Okay. I love my children. I love giving back to the community and educating kids. Okay. Because sometimes kids can be a little bad, they tear you off, they act crazy on you, but kids have such a genuine heart. They teach us so many lessons about life, and it's important to raise them up in community. Everyone plays a part in raising everyone's child, okay? Students, teachers, even substitute teachers, okay? So I'm going to tell you a story about when I was a substitute teacher. And like I said, it was when I was really into this giving back to the community, which I still am, but I wanted to be giving back in the capacity of education to children. And I wanted to gain some life lessons from it. So when I was a substitute teacher, substitute teachers are at the mercy of the children, okay? They are treated terribly, okay? Because kids tend to think that substitute teachers are like disposable, okay? They are treated like I wouldn't say the scum of the earth, but they're treated like lower level employees when it comes to like faculty and children, okay? Children really just do not give substitute teachers any slack, okay? So, with that being said, I know how I have treated substitute teachers when I was a child and know how my peers have treated substitute teachers as a child. But the different dynamic with me was I was considered one of those rare, cool substitute teachers. And the reason why I was considered cool is because I am very relatable with the children, okay? I know the latest music that they listen to. I know the words that they use. I connected with very valuable things that they're going to learn in life. And I connect the popular music and the popular things that children listen to with life lessons so that it's relatable, right? And so I was crowned Miss Kelly, the favorite substitute, okay? Children loved me. And I normally would teach in like middle school and high school. And I think that's where they absorb the most of life's lessons there, right? And connect it in a way where it bridges the gap from adolescence to adulthood. So, occasionally I would work at this middle school in town, the town that I was living in at the time. And that particular school had bad reviews from students and faculty alike. Like there was no middle ground with this particular school. Sometimes you hear bad reviews, sometimes you hear good reviews about schools, but no, this school was considered the school that was a terrible school in the way that the children behaved. And many of these students came from marginalized communities, and a lot of children tend to act out when they have a lack of resources in their community, and then they go to school and they act those behaviors out, right? And so teachers and substitute teachers and faculty have to endure that and be able to still mold a positive child in the community. So very, very difficult to do, but there are people out here that are very loving people and are still catering to the needs of children, even when it may be tough. So I was one of those substitute teachers that understood that, and I still do now. And like I was saying, on one particular day that I was substituting at this middle school that had some poor ratings based on kids' behavioral issues. It was a 6th grade class, right? And there was this little black boy. He's a handsome little thing. He was fresh too, had some Jordans on, a tracksuit, okay? I was like, all right. I noticed that he was the cool kid. And most of the kids in the class and his peers, they tend to gravitate towards him. And when he would act out, they would root him on in his inappropriate and poor behavior. Well, like I said, I'm the cool substitute. I allow children to listen to music, to talk with their friends, because I believe that kids can multitask, right? They can listen to music and get their schoolwork done and absorb whatever it is that they're learning from the curriculum at the same time. There is no need for children to have their head down in books and just be quiet the entire time like most substitute teachers tend to do. I think that it is very valuable for them to be able to be themselves in their environment as well as learn at the same time. And it's very possible to happen. I see it happen. I've let them do that, and it has been beneficial for the class. And I'm invited to come back and I'm talking about from the student standpoint, right? I'm invited to come back in their space because I'm Miss Kelly, the favorite substitute, right? Well, in this particular class, this little black boy was not having it. Okay. He was not having it with me. He was like, I'm not going to do any work and I'm going to act the way I want to act. And so me as the authoritative figure in the class, I was like, hey, you have to cut it out. I don't mind, you talking with your friends or listening to music, but you have to do some work. And do you know this little boy cussed me out? Okay, not cursed me out. He cussed me out. All right. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. But I sent the young man to the principal's office to cool off. And when the class was over, I sat in that classroom at the desk for a while and I reflected on that young man, right? I really did. I really reflected on him and what was going on. And at that time, I was pregnant and very hormonal. I was a bigums. It was swollen Sunday every day. I was hurting. I was hurting. My feet were hurting. And so let me stop lying. I wasn't really reflecting at that desk. My feet was just hurting. I had to sit there for a minute. But I did think about him. I did think about that little boy. And, I reflected on whether I should write a referral, which would that be placed in the boy's school folder? That's what I reflected on. Okay, if I write this referral, how long would this referral stay with this boy and his history? When teachers and substitute teachers write referrals, do they reflect on that? How long that stays with a child? And would it be really discipline? Would it really be discipline? Or would it be me perpetuating a system that is already against him? Those were my reflections at that time. Would he travel down the pipeline of school to prison? That's what I thought about when I was sitting and thinking, with hurt feet from being pregnant and, walking around the class and making sure the kids were doing what they were supposed to be doing. I sat down at the end of the class and I reflected, okay, how would this impact this young man? So I didn't write that referral. As I left the school and I walked past the office to sign out, I told the principal that I just wanted him to come down here to cool off. And I told the principal that I was not going to proceed with writing a referral for that young man. And I didn't even tell the principal what happened. I just said, hey, he just needed time to cool off. That's all. And I left it at that. Knowing all of these facts about our young men, especially black men being more likely to be incarcerated and more likely for that experience to follow them, right? From school all the way to adulthood. I just didn't want to contribute to that. I was faced with a tough moment. What kind of disciplinary action would have been acceptable from a sub? What kind of disciplinary action would be acceptable from me as a mother? I basically let it go. I felt like I was giving him a chance, but there was a thought in my mind that I wanted him to receive some sort of good discipline, right? But I had to let it go, y'all. I was just a substitute in that situation and I had to let it go in that moment. And so I did. I went about life and I let that situation go. Fast forward to a few months later, right? I believe that my uncle passed away. And you know how black families do, after a funeral. We're going to kick it with our kinfolks and our relatives and our family at the repast. So when I went to the repast, I was eating my food and my eye gaze from across the room, from person to person. And I was smiling at everyone. And I noticed somebody in that moment. I was like, oh, that face looks familiar. And I saw that young man that cussed me out in that classroom, y'all. We locked eyes and he cringed in fear. I was close enough to state to him, "Oh, now you're scared, huh?" In my, regular joking way. And y'all remember that little scene from Menace to Society when the main character Kane was in police custody and he was being interrogated about a robbery that he was present at. Bill Dukes got Kane slipped up in a lie, right? Kane was slipped up in a lie by the cop that played Bill Dukes. And the famous line that was said from that was, "You know you done fucked up, right? You know you done fucked up." See, that scene captured the very essence of that moment of me and that young man locking eyes. Like, I just immediately thought of that scene. And every time something happens to me in life, I always think of movie scenes and I always resonate with what happened from a movie scene. And that Menace to Society movie it tickled me. That's what I thought about when I locked eyes with that young man. And he just wasn't ready. He was like, "No, I wasn't ready." And I wanted to laugh so bad at his reaction to him seeing me. And anyway, back to the story. So I said, "Oh, you thought you weren't going to see me anymore." And my cousin, her name is Kim, she said, hold up. Let me tell you about Kim first before I even, get into the whole story about what happened next. Kim is that hood cousin that is loud, but has values, morals, and respect, right? Kim is that cousin that is the mayor of the town. Everybody knows her and everybody respects her. Well, that cousin yelled loudly, "Cuz, what that boy do?" And I paused and I explained to Kim I was subbing in his class, and he cussed me clean out. I just went ahead and told her. Kim said, you got Kim, that little boy." And I was like, "Yeah, he was in one of the classes that I was substituting." And then Kim stated to me, "Oh, that's my grandson." And I was like, "Oh, this is her grandson." Have you guys ever heard of 6 degrees of separation? 6 degrees of separation is the idea that all people on average are 6 or fewer social connections away from each other, right? And that is important in this story. This story is basically about 6 degrees of separation. Is health wealth, people? Is health wealth? It's important to respect people. That's a part of health. I don't care what aspect of life, as far as what looks like healthy, respect is number one. Respect people before you even know who they are. It's healthy to be kind. It's healthy to be respectful. You don't know if that person knows someone that can impact your life. You don't know. To cultivate healthy relationships with people that you cross paths with, which is what makes you wealthy in your morals and values. I want to thank you, y'all, for listening in on my first show. And thank you for all the support that I've been receiving about making this platform, about giving other individuals a voice to be heard in their everyday lives, in my life, and in my journey. We'll continue to provide you with some love philosophy on health is wealth. And the next show will be about tough skin in the workplace. And our special guest will be Lakeisha Harrison. I'm excited about that conversation, and I hope you are too. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for listening.
Momo, did you hear something?
Through the highs and the lows, just know you're not alone. 'Cause your health is your wealth. So for me, take care of yourself. It's a simple philosophy. Take care of you for me. Yeah, it's a simple philosophy. Take care of you for me.
Love, philosophy.